Hey world, how y'all doing? What's up, world? We are live on YouTube. You can go to Oklahoma's Cannabis Voice, catch us on YouTube. You can go to Amberly Taylor on Facebook or TNI Voice. We are live. We are sporadic. You know that none of this is planned out. That's just the way I roll because I'm not a good planner. We have an inmate that's calling, so give me just a second to accept the call. Y'all know we always try to keep our inmates safe, have them call on proper phones. Here, let me get cue for y'all real quick. Hold up. Let me press 1 and all that good stuff and get them through the line. Today we have a couple topics. One of them is where is the money, Oklahoma? Oklahoma was given $2 billion last May, in addition to a lot of COVID funds, and there's still a lot of Oklahomans being evicted. So that's topic 1. Here we go. Hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Emily. How are you?
I am doing well. Welcome to Taylor's Voice. Go check the food for me, please. Tell us your name. Where you at right now?
My name is Delbert Johnson, and I'm currently at Lexington.
Currently at Lexington. So I don't know if y'all can hear real well. We were going to have Delbert Johnson call in, but it wasn't going through on the wall phone. So y'all know that sometimes we can have issues with those call-ins when we're calling from those DOC phones. So I'm going to reach out to Roy Anthony and Jacoby one more time. Ms. Johnson, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a single mother, divorced with 4 children. I enjoy life. I love my children. I was a caregiver until the COVID came in, and I was doing a lot of volunteering for different organizations. So right now, I'm just enjoying life.
Okay. Well, if you ever want to do some research for Taylor's Voice for some of the cases we do while you're stuck with the quarantine, we've got a big surge going on in Oklahoma right now. So everybody's trying to stay safe and all that good stuff. Were you? Do you happen to be one of the Oklahomans that utilized COVID funds?
No,
I was not either, and that was one of the problems. Is that I just couldn't get to it. Like there was not access. I actually tried and tried. Upward Transitions actually happened to be the place that ended up helping me when I was in need, and it ended up not being through those 2 main organizations. Well, we invited NAACP of Tulsa. We invited Roy Anthony, and we invited Plus Party, but we don't have them here yet, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Mr. Johnson is one of my cases. He's actually one of my newer cases. Y'all know Free Mark West, Free Princess Pons, Free Michael Gaines, Free Stanley Watson, Free George Bravo. Those are my heart, soul. Those are my foundation cases. So those will always be number 1. Freelance Glore is the man that got me into activism because he was one of the first people that answered when I was trying to figure out any way to get my dad free. My dad was Oklahoma lifer, Thomas Landreth, and I was able to get him free with the community of people like Miss Johnson here and like her son, because they're part of our community too, and that's how I got my dad free. So we are going to get Mr. Johnson free as well. Mr. Johnson is a lifer. He has overwhelming evidence that exonerates him from his life sentence. He also has DNA evidence that exonerates him from his life sentence, and he's going to tell us about that today. Mr. Johnson, I'm going to turn you up.
First of all, thank you for having me, Emily.
I
guess I'm asking for some assistance because, as you said, I have DNA evidence that clearly exonerates me from this crime. However, the state failed to do its duty by testing the DNA evidence. And now the David Prater, he is constantly fighting me not to have this mission accomplished. So after dealing with a couple of attorneys who that's another subject that left me financially depleted, that didn't do what they were supposed to do. It was ineffective assistance of counsel as well, because trial counsel failed to request for the DNA evidence to be tested. Also, an alibi witness, they failed to call the alibi witness to trial counsel. The next door neighbor, they used that along with the next door neighbor's testimony that she assumed it was two black voices she heard at the time of the crime, which now clearly the transcripts revealed that it was one black guy speaking to one white guy about his girlfriend's phone that they had previously left. So there's massive information and evidence that trial counsel failed to present to the jury. And that's how I was convicted, because of those two issues, prosecutorial misconduct and ineffective assistance of counsel. So my desire now is to get help from the public to put to give him a wrongful convicted man the opportunity to prove his innocence, not to take my word for it, but let the evidence show who was guilty of this crime. Now that the individual that was placed at the crime scene, they gave him a deal, gave him 20 years to say I was with him, although nothing places me at the crime scene. When the Oklahoma City detective Chris Miller at the time testified that nothing places Delbert Johnson at that crime scene. But because Delbert Johnson, me, would not give them the information that they wanted me to give them, well, they went to the guy who could be placed there and gave him the opportunity to cooperate with them and include me as if I was there with him when this crime was committed. So right now the state is coming back saying, well, even if we give Mr. Johnson this opportunity to have the DNA tested and the results come back excluding him, it still wouldn't have changed the outcome of the jury's verdict, because this is a felony murder charge. And my argument is that defies logic, because nothing places me there. And you had 74 samples of DNA collected at the crime scene. You only tested 3 of them and left the other 71 available for testing. But again, trial counsel refused to or failed to ask.
I wanted to touch on the fact that for DNA to even be retested or tested initially, that there has to be a thought that there's innocence. There has to be a reason for them to retest that, correct? Like they can't just go around, testing people's DNA if there's already a verdict on the case. They had to have thought that there was a reason to do this retesting, correct?
Call for a DNA analyst, and if you have an individual saying that they wouldn't.
If you don't know, I'm a mother of 4, so anything I do, I have my kids with me. So if you hear babies in the background, that's just what it is. They go to court support with me. They go to class with me. They're part of what I do. So that's me. You get my kids with me. I have been told many a times by judges when I'm going to court support, no kids allowed in the courtroom. And it's usually one of the women there that's like, give me the baby, let me hold her, I'll sit outside with her, you go do your thing. And that's how community works. And that's why we're here today, is to help Mr. Johnson get his story out. David Prater is up for re-election. David Prater has a lot of heat on him right now. There was thousands of signatures collected to get him out of office. I just received a case of a man who was a victim of Asian hate, and he had his property destroyed. He had Asian slurs written all over his property, communist, all kinds of things. You can go on my page and see it. And David Prater blatantly denied filing charges on the white man who did do this to him. So it seems like there's a consistency on him picking and choosing instead of following the law and what justice is supposed to, the lines that justice is supposed to be on. And that is definitely things that people need to consider when they're reelecting. A lot of times we think that we don't have a vote, that our vote doesn't count. And that's why we have judges that sit on the bench for 20, 30 years. That's why we have a sheriff in Lawton, Oklahoma, that's been the sheriff for almost as long as I've been alive, 32 years. So maybe our vote doesn't count because we're not voting. We have to vote these people out that are incarcerating our people at large numbers. And then whenever they do make a mistake, because we all are human and these aren't robots who are convicting these people, then we need somebody who will be like, okay, a mistake was made. Let's go find out how we can fix it. And that's what we're trying to do with Mr. Johnson, correct? We want to fix this, right? We want you home, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Can you explain to us what felony murder is? That you mentioned that because of it being that they could not go back and grant you a retrial, even though DNA does exonerate you. So can you please explain a little bit to us what that is?
Yes, I will, to the best of my ability. Felony, they have what they call two types of murder in Oklahoma. They have malice forethought, which is you intended to kill, or felony murder means you don't even have to be there. If they can show that you was in cahoots or you took part in a conversation to go and commit a crime that resulted in the death of another, that's considered felony murder. So, for instance, if I came by and said, can I borrow your gun? And you let me borrow it or you initiated it, that can still be considered felony murder. And that's the statute that they convicted me under. So even though they're saying that, okay, well, Mr. Johnson, even if Mr. Johnson wasn't the one who did commit the murder, the fact that he was there, he's still guilty of felony murder. And my argument to that is nothing places me there. Your detective from Oklahoma County Police Department says nothing places me there. But this individual that they gave the deal to, because he was initially charged with first-degree murder as well, but because he done and gave them the information and told the story the way they wanted to be heard, or the way they wanted to be told, they dropped his first-degree murder life sentence down to 20 years accessory after the fact to testify and say, oh yeah, DJ was with me. Now DJ or Robert Johnson did come in contact with this individual 3 hours after the fact. So they convinced the jury that, okay, if Mr. Johnson was with him here at 3:49 or 3:50 a.m., but then he was here between 12 and 1 at the time the guy was killed. And which is just, like I said, defies logic. And then other things came into play where the next door neighbor said she heard something that sounded like two voices built on an assumption. And my argument to that was, well, first of all, voices don't have color. They don't have a body. So what do you mean you was two black voices? What does that mean? So anyway, we went to the trial transcripts and broke that down. We know exactly who the two individuals was and exactly what they were saying. And Delbert Johnson was nowhere there.
Now you got an argument for that there, because my daddy's caseworker used to swear to God I was lying about being his daughter by the way I sounded, and I'd be like, "Look, lady, I'm his daughter."
Yeah.
So that's very true.
Right.
But that's just one of the minimal facts in your case that makes it kind of it makes it unweary about a lot of cases, because if that many things could have gone wrong in your case, then I can only imagine how many things have gone wrong in other cases. We have comedian Roy Anthony that is joining us, and we're going to add him to the stream and introduce him. Hey, Roy, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine, Amberly. You know, I've just been going in and out of town, and I read your calls. I think it was day before yesterday, and I said, you know what? Let me stop. I wasn't trying to be late, or I'm not even
No,
ready to
that's
say anything
okay.
because I'm in and out of town. But go ahead. I'm just happy to be on your platform.
Yeah, so
You know
I
what it's all
explained at
about.
the beginning of the podcast that everything is sporadic with me. When I try to plan something, there's like some breaking news story or something I gotta run to, or somebody in
Yeah,
prison needs help right this second, or so every time I plan something, it never goes right. So we just hit and miss. If people can
yeah.
jump on, then they can jump on. If they can't, we ain't mad. So that's the
Yeah,
only way it's gonna happen with me, I guess. I'm
yeah.
working at it though. I hope I get past my inconsistencies of scheduling. But I have 147 cases. I'm a full-time pre-law student. I'm a mother of 4. I work 2, 3 jobs. So y'all give me y'all, but y'all love me. So y'all already know. So yes. So
Yeah.
we were just talking about Mr. Johnson. We have Mr. Johnson on the phone right now, and we have about 7 minutes left of his 20-minute call because he is calling in from prison. We also have his mother with us. Mr. Johnson is an Oklahoma inmate. He is doing life for a murder that he did not commit, that DNA evidence just actually exonerated him for that murder. And the state of Oklahoma is refusing to grant him a new trial. So that's why we are trying to bring a little bit of light to his case. Mr. Johnson, what do you think about the stuff that is going on with politics right now? I know that me and you were discussing the story that came out about Republican candidate Joy Hoffmeister being paid to run against Democratic candidate Connie Johnson by the Democratic Party. So essentially, what the story was explaining is that she was pulled from the Republican Party by Democrats to run against Ms. Connie, which would mean that her own people went and got the enemy and brought the enemy across lines. So, how do you feel about that going on right now? What are your insights on that?
Well, me being a man of faith, it doesn't surprise me because a lot of the stuff that's going on today has been prophesied and nailed in the scriptures. However, that being said, politics have become about self-gain. They are not about for the people. It's very few that are actually for the people. And it has just come, it's about their party, about lining their pockets, about what they can do for them and their families. And excuse my French, but the hell with the people. So I admire what you're doing, and I like the way you keep it raw and uncut. You tell it like it is. But as you've been saying, we need the people, the citizens, to really get involved and look at what's going on. Because if we don't get involved, we're in for a world of trouble. Because this could be the situation I'm in, could be anybody's family. And if we come together and team up and stand against this corruptness and the evilness, then I believe that I'm optimistic that we will have better days ahead. But until we all come together and attack this thing and start calling it for what it is, like you're doing, nothing's gonna change.
I've been holding my cussing in because your mama on here, but yes, I do. I got a foul mouth, and I don't care who hears it. I don't, but I love Miss Johnson, so I'm respectfully keeping it clean. But I was just saying that, like, if it was you, because today we had an execution. Today, a man died, and that we could go on about that all day because I just don't understand the ideology of we're gonna take somebody's life because they took somebody else. Well, that makes it just the same, right? But there wasn't people from out of town. When we do a protest in Colorado, it goes down. And when I say it goes down, we ain't destroying nothing. We ain't burning nothing down. We're not stopping, businesses. We're coming together in thousands, and we've gotten things changed. We've gotten a police accountability bill passed. We've gotten a healthcare bill passed where people are utilizing healthcare trained professionals for 911 calls versus police officers. There is a lot of things that have passed in Colorado because of our protests. And the governor has actually said that because of the protests, these things are happening. But in Oklahoma, you might get 10, maybe 20 people. And today I was like, what if it was you? What if Roy? What if he was asking us to come come pull up. They're fixing to execute you. You have 2 hours left to breathe. Like you would want the world to pull up, right?
You know, to be honest with you, and that's a touchy situation because it's what I put myself into first. You know, sometimes we put ourselves in a situation and then we cry help. Before the situation, we had to take a look at ourselves before you put yourself. When I was younger, my grandmother used to say, "Don't let your good be spoken evil of." And I'm gonna give you an example. I was shacking up with this woman, right? And every time I'm praying, you know, to obtain something or get a job, nothing was working. I felt like I had a buzzer's feather stuck in my ass, right? And I kept praying. So my grandmother, who was the pastor of the church I used to attend as a kid, I go to her and said, Amanda, everything I prayed for, you know, I'm starting to feel lack of faith, right? And she said, baby, God don't bless in mess. You know, you can't have a dirty house and expect people to recognize a new couch, you know. And so as soon as I said, you know what, I left right there and I broke up with the woman. It's like, hey, you know, because I wasn't planning on marrying her and stuff started changing. I'm saying this because sometimes we want to you know, bring attention to something that really individual put themselves in that situation. Now, I just brought up on my show about how many innocent people that are in prison.
1 in 10. Oklahoma's execution rate of innocent people is 1 in 10. Every 10 persons that we kill, 1 is innocent.
Yeah, and see, then that's the tricky part. And they know that DNA. Every time you look up, the previous decade has advanced. You know, here it is, 2022. America knows that the DNA system has been going on since the late 40s because America is the only country that collects your placenta and your umbilical cord when giving birth. That's created a DNA library. So they already know who did such and such and such. But the thing is, it's not just going through Oklahoma, it's going through all these states. And the main thing about it is like what's going on with Senator Connie Johnson is that people want power. We got a lot of states that could be legal as far as cannabis is concerned. But the thing is power. You know, if we don't have control of it, we're going to make it still illegal. And how do you eradicate a group of people and stuff? And I be telling people like this, first we got to start with what is the nucleus of the neighborhood, especially in the Black community? What is the nucleus? The churches. What's the churches teaching? Because somehow they ain't reaching everybody. We got 80% of minorities, so it makes up the prisons. You got private sanctuary prisons and stuff that they say they need a quota of 80%. That's where in the past 5 years, people with misdemeanors is going to prison.
So that's kind of where we are today with this topic. Where is the money? Because we've seen $2 billion come in for COVID relief. We've seen $5 billion come in from Oklahoma corrections corporations. We've seen Oklahoma taxpayers pay $651 million to DOC, and we don't see any results. We have Alicia Fox joining us. She is, we're going to add her to the stream. Oh, there we go. She is a justice sister of mine. She is Jesse Cedillo's sister. She's going to chime in just a second. I'm going to have her introduce herself formally and give us a little update about her brother's case because we just passed the year mark of no arrest. So we are talking about the money today. We are talking about wrongfully convicted, which is connected with the money. Oklahoma incarcerates, I believe Emily Shelton from Ignite Justice corrected me today. She said that we are 3. We're number 3 now. My whole life, Oklahoma has levied between 1st and 2nd of mass incarceration. I guess today we're level 3. So I guess we've worked a little bit up, but we incarcerate so many people, and a lot of those people are wrongfully incarcerated, like Mr. Johnson right here. And then on the other side of justice, we have the people like who Miss Alicia is trying to bring justice for incarceration. we are trying to have Jeffrey Alfonso incarcerated. Jeffrey Alfonso took her brother's life unjustly, wrongfully. And we have that other side where our people are incarcerated at massive amounts. And then the people that are incarcerating us are never held accountable. So Miss Alicia, hey, how you doing, sister?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm happy you could join us. How you doing? Up in Colorado, is it cold? Is it snowing?
Oh, it's really cold. It did snow here today, and just trying to stay warm.
I miss it. I miss it. Well, Miss Alicia, she is always like the backbone sister of the three. There, she has two other sisters, or is it three? Am I missing one? Is it two other sisters or three?
It's Nicole and Jalen.
Okay, right. Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because at the beginning, whenever I first started advocating for this case, I would get them mixed up. They're all so beautiful, and then it's like the free charmed, and it's just the family of freedom fighters. But she's the backbone. She's always standing in the back, gathering the kids, making sure everybody has the signs. And today, I'm just so proud of her for joining us. And can you tell us about your brother?
Yes. My brother was 20 years old. He was killed by Jeffrey Alfonso on March 14th, 2020. He did steal a car, but you know, he was young and dumb, and we've all been there. And he did not deserve he did not deserve to be killed. He deserved, maybe to go to jail for a little bit, learn from his mistakes and grow from them. But Jeffrey Alfonso, he took it upon himself to take my brother's life and didn't think twice about it. And it changed the whole dynamic of my family. And I don't know. I'm not really good at talking about sometimes.
Oh, you did great, baby. You did great. Yes. Let's give her some love. You did great. You did great.
I don't want this to happen to anyone else's loved one. We as a nation need to stand together, brown and black, and everything. Honestly, it's not even about race. I don't know.
I agree. It's about money. I agree. We are all on the same level. It's us against the 1%, basically, because as long as they incarcerate us and they keep us against each other and they keep killing us and they know that we cannot do anything back, it's shown. You won't get in trouble. You have immunity. Then they're going to continue and it's never going to stop. So I have my son Nicholas right here. Nicholas.
Hello, Nick.
Hey. So Jesse Cedillo is really still a kid. He was really still a kid when he got killed by Jeffrey Alfonso in Pueblo, Colorado, by Pueblo County Police Department officer Jeffrey Alfonso. So what happened is Jesse Cedillo allegedly stole a car, and he was running, and Jeffrey Alfonso was waiting around the corner for Jesse, and as soon as Jesse came around the corner and ran into Jeffrey Alfonso shot Jesse twice, and he fell on the ground, and then after he was on the ground, he continued to shoot his whole clip out of his gun. And then afterwards, when they released the body cam footage, you could see that Jesse Cedillo didn't have a gun or anything. And then in the police report, they report that he had a green gun that they planted under his body.
So can you tell people how you learned about Jesse Cedillo and why you take on cases like Mr. Johnson's and the Lawton 4 in Mark West. Can you tell people why that's important to you?
It's important to me because like I know that it could be one of my siblings, one of my friends, or even me. So I want to get rid. Like I know it's gonna take a lot to get rid of all racism, and honestly, all racism probably isn't gonna be abolished, but I want to make it to where people people get consequences. People of higher power and people in the law system, they get consequences for the things they do, just like normal citizens, which they are, but they're not treated like they are. And it could be me, my brother, one of my friends, just walking down the street, and like Elijah McClain just walking down the street, and then the police come and do something unethical to you. Elijah McClain was just walking down the street. He was an autistic boy. He was flailing his arms in Colorado. It was October. It was like cold in Colorado. Like it's really cold in Colorado. So he had a ski mask on. His face was cold. He was flailing his arms around, and so one lady called police on him. And Elijah McClain, he didn't weigh very much, but paramedics and police, they injected enough ketamine into his body to seduce a man that weighed over 250 pounds, and they overdosed him on ketamine and killed him.
Yeah, so I think that the big thing about what Jesse Cedillo means to Oklahoma is that we come out for each other. We were at a Take It Down rally in Pueblo, Colorado, and I'm gonna cry. And in the audience, there was these kids screaming, Jesse Cedillo, Jesse Cedillo. We were like, who is Jesse? And they told us who he was, and we've been in love with this child ever since. He was such a caring, loving, compassionate, dream-filled baby, and he didn't get to do any of those things. And property is never more important than life, but the biggest thing about the Jesse Cedillo story is community and coming together, and we come out for each other, and that's what we need in Oklahoma. We need people to come out for Mr. Johnson. We need people to come out for his mother. His mother is elderly. She's at home, and prison families stick together in Colorado, and we need to start doing that here in Oklahoma. If there's an inmate that has an elderly mother, give us her information. If she needs her sidewalk shoveled, my babies are coming out. If she needs groceries, if she needs us to go to the store for her, we're pulling up. That's part of what community looks like. If you need court support, my number is listed everywhere, 720-269-9902. We're pulling up. If your child gets arrested, we're pulling up. If you need us in Colorado, Alicia, what are we doing? We pulling up. And that's the most beautiful thing about what we do together. That's how we are in 3 different states on StreamYard right now. That's how we were able to get comedian Roy Anthony to pull up to our StreamYard and bless us, even though he's on tour right now, because this is what community looks like. So, Alicia, can you tell people where to find Jesse's information at on Facebook?
Yes. Justice for Jesse. Sorry, there's my daughter.
Nice.
We have Justice for Jesse. And there you can, communicate with myself or my mother or my sisters. There's some information on the case and what happened. I'm sorry,
That's okay. That's okay. Y'all can go Google Jesse Cedillo. Jesse Cedillo is one of the trending searches next to Jesse. So his name will pop up first. And you know what? The first thing that pops up is the body cam footage that implicates police officers placing an object that looks quite like a gun underneath his body after they couldn't find one. So I need everybody. Doesn't take long to go click. If you just need something to believe, there it is for you. Mr. Johnson, where can we go to help you? Where's your petition? Where's your information? Mr. Johnson's off the phone. We hit the 20 minutes. Daggone it. Okay, Miss Johnson, can you tell us where to go?
I really don't know. My son wants to keep things going. You can find it on Facebook. He put a lot of information on Messenger. And,
so that is one of our advocates that's running his Facebook page. So we have a Facebook page, Free Mr. Johnson. We have a petition out that is Free Mr. Johnson. She does get all of his messages to him either through the wall phone or through mail. So you are welcome to write him. He does not have a fundraiser yet, but whenever he does, I will let y'all know.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add, Ms. Johnson? You want to let people know how it affects you to have your baby gone?
Well, it have really affected me, and also in health wise, I'm not able to get around like I used to. But I still love my son. I still support him. Like he says, a lot of people that's in there that they shouldn't be, and it's hard to get people to come out and protest for the innocent, because a lot of times they don't know who they are. They don't want to get to know who they are. So it's really a hard time, a rough time to get somebody out there to support you. And that's the sad part about it.
That's right. Well, we're here to support you. And my son, when we go live next Thursday, we will be airing. So Joy Hoffmeister, my boss is I'm on a volunteer status now. So I guess my former boss, Senator Connie Johnson, her opponent actually asked my son to come and speak, and he declined. And we will be, he'll be reading his, the reason why he declined, and he'll be giving you his reasoning next Thursday. And that is something that connects with what Ms. Johnson is saying is we need people who are going to be genuine, who are going to get to know us. One of the reasons why I became a writer, and the only reason why I became a writer, is because nobody would listen to me about my dad. So I had to humanize him. And journalists know what I mean, but to everybody else, that means I had to present him to the public like a human versus an inmate. And it's really sad that we have to do that, considering the wrongful conviction rates that we have. I think that we should give people the benefit of the doubt versus what the paper says until we learn. Also, we have to keep an open mind with a lot of things. We have a lot of incarcerated individuals in Oklahoma that have been incarcerated since they were juveniles. If a child is committing a murder or a robbery or something to where the state of Oklahoma thinks it's heinous enough to be in an adult prison, society has some part in that because they were a child. So those are all types of things that we're going to explore next Thursday. My child is calling for everybody to come and help Oklahoma. Oklahoma needs us. We need Arkansas. We need Mississippi. We need Louisiana. We need Colorado. We need Kansas. We need all of the states that me and Nicholas have pulled up to. All of the states, Georgia, Alabama, St. Louis, we have pulled up to every single one of those states to help. And we need Oklahoma now. We need y'all to pull up for us now, and we're going to tell y'all why. We're going to tell y'all why it's so important next Thursday. So I need y'all to tune in. Next Thursday, we're going to have a count of Jesse Cedillo and Mr. Johnson's petition. See if anybody went over there and signed it for us, and we're going to keep a watch on that and keep getting updates. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Do you have any goodbyes? Anything you want to leave anybody with?
Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay prayed up.
Amen. Miss Alicia?
I just, like you said, stay safe and just make sure to just love on the ones that you have in your life. And you never know, tomorrow's not promised.
That's right. That's right. Love on your people tonight, y'all. And don't forget your people behind the walls. That mail call it gets you through. That mail call gets you through. Make sure you send a letter. All right, y'all. Next Thursday, same time, 8 o'clock. I'm claiming it. I'm going to be here. This is what it is. Bam. I'll put it in motion.
And let's see my baby girl isn't crying so I can talk better.
Yes. Look, if you want to go through it one time before tomorrow, next Thursday, we could do that too.
Okay, sounds
Yes,
great.
ma'am. You did good though, baby. I love you.
I love you too.
All right, all right. Bye, y'all. Happy
Bye.
Bye.
Thursday.
Happy
God
Thursday.
bless you guys.
Keep up
Have
the
a
good
good night.
work.